Hi, I'm Dr. Jerrica Dodd, founder and CEO of Your Pharmacy Advocate, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Everyone Needs a Pharmacist, Coronavirus Edition number 13. That means there are 12 videos out there for you and your family to watch on tips to stay healthy during the coronavirus pandemic. With that, I want to make sure that you understand that the information shared in these videos is not meant to treat, manage, or diagnose any illness or healthcare concern. Also, the information that is shared is not meant to take the place of a relationship that you have with a physician or any other healthcare practitioner. And the information shared in this video is only representative of us and our companies and not any entity to which we are connected. So with that, I'd love for you to join me in welcoming my two pharmacist colleagues to the platform, Dr. Corine Ferebee of Trinity Wellness RX Consulting and Dr. Shanika Baylor of Divine Hands Health and Wellness. Thank you, ladies, for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's just jump right into the conversation because I want to use our time that we have wisely. So I know that over the last couple of weeks, days, hours, life just continues to change. It has changed and it continues to change. And life as we knew it even 2 weeks ago is different from what we know today. So with that, everything's changing. Like, more people are finding themselves at home. Our routines have changed. Our diets have changed. I know we're going to talk a little bit about that. Our exercise routines have changed. I know we're going to talk about that too. And how is it that as we find ourselves in this pandemic and we're trying to all make sense of it, make our way in this new social distancing that we're practicing, how do we eat well and stay fit are two of the questions that I have. How do we do that? And then also, we're also used to being around people more. And I don't know about you, but for me, being isolated, like, things have changed so much that, I don't know, I need the people. So talk to me about how to stay fit and how to eat well during this time.
You know, social distancing, that conversation is everywhere. Every time you turn on the television, every time you have a conversation with a friend or a family member, social distancing comes up. So how can we keep it social? Well, basically, as far as exercise, virtual classes are everywhere. Whenever you turn on Facebook, Instagram, there's opportunity to be a part of a virtual class and get your exercise in, and I encourage the community to join different groups that may be on Facebook or Instagram so that you can know what's going on in the community and know when these virtual classes are being offered. So my advice is keep it social, regardless of the fact that we have to exercise social distancing, because the virtual classes are out there and they are available and people are really enjoying them.
All right, so I need to get signed up and find something virtual. I know. Yes. I saw an article and there was a picture in the article and it showed women outside on their street in a neighborhood, and they were definitely all more than 6 feet apart from each other, but they were lined up along the neighborhood street opposite each other on either sides of the street, and they were all exercising together, and I'm sure they had a leader to show them what exercises to do. But I thought even that was a good example of keeping that social distance but also still being social, so you could see your neighbors and everybody's outside exercising. But I totally agree that with the pollen that's out in Atlanta right now, I don't know if I can be outside without having some attack. So with that, knowing that there are classes online, I know I have seen Zumba classes online from some of my colleagues that are teaching Zumba. So I can imagine there's every kind of class you want to find out there.
Absolutely. I've seen Zumba, I've seen yoga, I've seen classes for kids. So whatever you're looking for, it's out there.
All right, so keeping it social and moving at the same time. So Dr. Baylor, talk about how we can have that connection that we're used to having, but also make sure that we're not eating the wrong types of snacks.
Yes, so absolutely. We are social people. We gather around the dinner table, we gather in restaurants, to eat. So one of those things is going to be, how do we incorporate that at home? Well, just like Dr. Corine talked about with the virtual fitness classes, you also have virtual cooking classes. You have all kind of chefs that are out there right now teaching their recipes, posting those recipes on Instagram. So get the kids involved, come to the table together, consider the science project with the kids or math with the measuring, how you make these recipes. You can go in, have a watch party with your friends on Facebook or Instagram and watch, those chefs create a meal, and you guys can cook it together while y'all are watching, and then you can gather socially around your virtual dinner table.
So those are definitely some ideas. I didn't realize that there were chefs that were doing demonstrations and giving their recipes. Like that's really that's definitely, I want to take advantage of some of those. So we can eat and we can cook and we can work out and we can still be together with those that are in the house with us, with those that are in our virtual neighborhoods, if you will. We still have the opportunity to be social, to stay connected, and we have like no excuse for not working out, not being active, as well as not eating well. Like, I mean, like you could basically, like you could cook a gourmet meal and feel like you're at the restaurant right there in your own kitchen. I see. So I know one of the other challenges is that it seems like a little bit like we're kind of on a vacation because we're not used to being home. For those who have to go to work in an office setting and they leave home and they go away to work every day, it may seem a bit different because now they're not at work, you're at home, and that bed is just right in the other room. So talk to me about accountability, because like it's not like your boss is at home watching you, on closed circuit TV. It's not like you have to, maybe you have to log in at a certain time of day and log in, be online for a certain amount of time. But if you, don't have those parameters, I can imagine that accountability is even, can even be challenging in a work from home setting. So talk to me about accountability with regard to fitness and food.
Dr. Jerrica, what you are saying about accountability is so important, and it applies to all of us. We definitely have to change that mindset about being on vacation because, especially for the first couple of weeks, I think that's how people felt like, okay, this is a vacation from the norm, and before you know it, you're not doing any of the things that you really should be doing. And so therefore we do have to call in our accountability partners, whether that's an app on your phone that you're logging into every day, or if it's a friend or a family member that's saying, hey, did you get up? Did you work out today? Or even, doing some type of virtual FaceTime or something like that to say, hey, let's do it together. Are you on the treadmill? Yes, I'm on the treadmill, so we just kind of have to work together and hold each other accountable to make sure it's getting done.
I imagine that it's even challenging to hold children accountable to do their schoolwork because, you're likely, and I'm speaking to you specifically, Dr. Corine, because you're not in the business of homeschooling, yet all of a sudden this new task has come about and you have to be accountable that your children are meeting the milestones that their teachers are expecting, even though they're home. So when you say it is hitting everybody, it's hitting everybody, because I'm sure your children would like to feel like this is vacation from school too.
Oh yeah, they have to be reminded on a daily basis. This is not vacation. We still have to have that structure, that accountability. The school systems are having accountability because they're requiring that we turn in certain amounts of, schoolwork to them. But even when you think about the kids, there has to be some accountability for making sure that they're getting in their physical activity as well, right. So there should be structured physical activity as well as unstructured. They still should be allowed to play and get out and kind of, just enjoy life a little bit because they are children. But then there should be some structured, okay, just like they would have recess at school, you want to have recess at home. So allow them that break time to get up and stretch and dance and just kind of enjoy life.
I think that we can all do, again, being social, we can all do that together, because adults can surely learn a lot from the structure that we make sure to provide for kids, to get up from our offices, get up from our computers and make sure that we're taking a break and dancing and having our adult recess, if you would. Dr. Baylor, so accountability cannot be skipped when we talk about food either, because I know before we started this recording, we talked about the snacks. Like I think that when people went to the grocery store in preparation for hunkering down and being at home, like they couldn't forget the snacks. I know personally, I bought snacks that I have not eaten in years. Like they used to be old favorites, and all of a sudden those old favorites made a comeback in my life and in my diet. And so with that, talk to us about accountability and our food.
Wow. So you said a lot right there, because accountability with food is everything. I don't know about where you guys are, but here we were in the middle of spring break when all of this started. So for a lot of people, they were kind of in vacation mode, or they were getting ready to go on vacation. So their mindsets when they did go to the grocery store was get food for vacation, get the snacks that the kids like, different things like that. Well, you know, we're not on vacation anymore. And like Dr. Corine said, school is back in, people are having to do their work. So same thing as adults, number one, what were you doing before that? So were you using an app to log in your food that you were eating? You know, did you have a nutrition partner? What were you doing before that you were making sure you were accountable? Were you meal prepping on the weekends to have your food for the week? Because if you're still working from home, technically you're still at work. So the things that you were doing before that, that's one way to hold yourself accountable. Make those meal plans again. Make sure you're going in and logging whatever you were logging before. If you have a professional, make sure you're working with that professional and keeping that relationship so that, you know, we can keep you guys intact. So that's going to be the first thing with the accountability. Secondly, you know, you're going to want to make a list when you go to the store, because it is, I mean, we do not want to be in the store forever. Number one, because we are still trying to be socially distanced and keep our spacing, but we don't want to look for all kind of things and see what's on sale. So make that list first. Send the right person to the store too, so that you know they're not just gonna grab the snacks. Or use the shopping apps and go ahead and order the things that you need. That way all you have to do is pick it up and you don't have to do the walking around and the looking for the snacks.
Right. So I agree with that. I need to make a list, because I know that the snacks I picked up, they were not on my list last time, yet they still made it into the shopping cart. So I agree with the accountability of being accountable to myself and making a list, and just understanding that this time is but a season. And so, you know, snacking to kingdom come is not a good idea, because this will be over, and I don't want to emerge with any extra pounds. I want to emerge strong, healthy, and ready to face or embark upon whatever's next. So with that, I want to ask both of you if you would talk to me about habits. I know we've talked about how things have changed so much in regard to maybe some of the regular habits we had when we were going to work, or when we were, you know, doing whatever we used to do before life changed in these last couple of weeks. We had habits, like maybe we got up at a certain time. I know I did. And then once all of this happened, I don't even understand why. Once this happened, I don't get up as early as I was getting up. I mean, I still have, you know, full days, but things just kind of start and you go, oh, my sleeping pattern even got a little turned around. And I was like, how did that happen? So with that, talk about habits with regard to, and I'm going to go, let's talk about the nutritional habits, and then we'll round out with the fitness habits. I'm going to ask you to share what your thoughts are on our habits during this time.
Yes, I think habits are there. Well, they can be easily broken. So that's one thing. And, you know, this has been a shift in everybody's day-to-day life, their habits, their emotions. So
Right.
it's very easy for us, you know, that's why food becomes comfort first. And it's
Yes.
to go reach for those things that are comfortable. So the first thing is whatever we were doing before, those healthy habits, we want to try to get those back. So like I said before, you know, if you're meal prepping, some of the school districts around here, you know, they provide breakfast and lunch for the kids. So even if you need to go get the breakfast and the lunch for the kids, go recreate that habit so you're not having to worry about what they're eating, you know, for breakfast and lunch. And then that takes some of the burden off of you too, as far as nutrition wise. Then you're really just concerned again about dinner. And then finally, you know, let's try a new habit. So once a week, let's go out and let's get a new recipe. Let's try baking with a new flour. So like almond flax or something like that, that's going to give us a healthier version of what we might call a comfort food.
So starting new habits, maintaining good habits are all ways to, I think, one, keep it new and keep ourselves engaged, because as we both acknowledge, this is something that most of us have never seen anything like this before. And so I think it's just a reminder of how human we are, and that while we may have the best intent, and, you know, I know for me personally, I thought when we were given the direction to practice social distancing, I was like, okay, good, I can get this and this done around the house. And what I'm finding is that the time that I didn't have for whatever reason when I was doing my normal routine, it's still the same now that my routine has changed. And so with that, I think holding on to the habits that we had already created, that we came into this circumstance with, as well as creating new habits, it gives us something to focus on. And I actually, you know, on a different level, I believe that it also gives us hope, and it gives us something to look forward to. So thank you for sharing about nutrition and habits. Talk to me, Dr. Corine, about fitness habits.
So I definitely feel like this is a time to reset, you know. So we were involved in these busy lives where we were just constantly going. You know, I talk to friends and family members, and we talk about how much time we spent in the car traveling, you know, to work, back and forth from work to school to different appointments. And now we have that block of time. I think about just how much time I spent, and I work from home. So even working from home, I spent about 2.5 hours in the car a day.
Wow.
And so now I have that time back, and it's so like, what am I going to do with it? And so I feel like this is a great time, a great opportunity to create new habits, you know, whether that's getting up in the morning and going ahead and exercising, using that time that you would have been driving to work. You know, now you can exercise. You always wanted to try yoga. Log on, do a virtual yoga class. So this is an opportunity not only to create new habits, but to explore and see what it is that you really enjoy doing, so that you can make that a part of your daily routine. I know for me, Dr. Baylor was saying about maybe ordering your groceries through the online, you know, services. I had never done that. You know, I wanted to go to the grocery store. I wanted to touch it. I wanted to smell it, whatever. You know, I didn't do that. But for the first time last week, I did that. And I think that'll be a part of my routine now, because I'm only going to get what's on my list. You know, it's not going to be an opportunity for me to go down the chip aisle, you know. So I'm going to get what's on the list, and it's going to keep me, you know, more grounded and, you know, on my list of what really I need to be purchasing. So definitely this is a great opportunity to create new habits and just, you know, take the time to make those a part of your daily routine.
Right. So keeping it social, making sure that you're accountable, and continuing and starting new habits. Like, that's just a wealth of information. I know that the viewers, when they watch this video, are going to say, those are some really good things to keep in mind, because I think that that's one of the ways that we're going to make it through this period in our lives, is staying connected. And I know when I tell you that my dear father told me a couple days ago that he downloaded Skype, I almost had a heart attack. And he was like, I need to order a camera so that I can, put it on my monitor. And like, so I find that it's amazing what circumstances will make us do, because that's his effort to become more social because of the distancing that we're needing to practice right now. And I find myself calling my friend, Dr. Corine, and saying, I worked out. I did this many minutes. I got up at this time. And so that's my accountability. And then Dr. Baylor, I promise that I think I'm going to, because I have definitely tried the delivery grocery services before, especially when I was traveling. I would have them delivered to my hotel so that I could have some of the items that I needed whenever I was in a different city. And I've done it here at home as well. Not recently, but I think I'm going to start that back up, because I think that will be a great way to make sure that the wrong stuff does not get on my list and I get the things that I need, because it's also economical to not be spending extra money on things that really aren't necessary, because this is not, the last time I'm going to eat. It's not my last meal. So I don't have to have all the snacks that I really shouldn't. And so I like that idea of the accountability and the new habit of having the groceries come to me, and I'm not in the store with all the temptation around. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your insight and your wisdom. I know that people are going to be really encouraged when they see this video. And I want to remind you that the information that we shared was not meant to take the place of a relationship that you have with a physician or other healthcare practitioner, also not meant to diagnose, treat, or manage any illness or healthcare concern. If you would, however, like to talk to a pharmacist about your health, have you ever talked to a pharmacist about your health? I bet you've never talked to a pharmacist about your health. You can talk to a pharmacist about your health by contacting yourpharmacyadvocate.com. Again, that's yourpharmacyadvocate.com. There's an 800 number there that you can call, or a contact form that you can complete, and someone will get in touch with you and set up a consultation with a pharmacist, because, as I say, everyone needs a pharmacist. Thank you for joining in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.